What's up, guys? I'm back again. This is part 4 of my front 4-link suspension, and we're actually going to be mounting up our axle today. But first, before I can finish it, there are a few things I have to take care of first. I have to cut off my upper mounts that go onto the axle. These are what those look like. But before I can figure out exactly where they go, I'd like to mount the engine and transmission, build the transmission mount, and then we can double check from there, and then we can rebuild our upper links for our axle, and then we can mount it up and mock it up and see what it looks like. So this is what we're all gonna be working with today. So we're gonna build our 4 links as well, our each individual link. So those are the 8 bungs, 1 on each side, left hand thread, right hand thread, and then this is our axle. This is our transmission that we're going to be installing. It's an Eaton TX14607B. It's rated for, I believe, 1,450 foot-pounds of torque, which should be perfect for our configuration. This is the motor, and right now it's needing to be rebuilt, and that's why it's open right now, just because it doesn't really need to be closed. Like, I'm going through all of it anyways. We're going to be polishing and porting it and rebuilding it from the crank up. So anyways, let's get into it. First, we got to mount up the engine and transmission, build the transmission mount, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys then. Do this and what we're going to have to change on the axle and kind of why. So if you look under here, that's the oil pan right there. The thing that my finger's sort of touching, that's the oil pan, and as you can see, it's like it sort of like drops down, and if we go on too tight of an angle with our upper links, it could protrude into the oil pan, and so that's what I'm trying to measure and avoid that. And so what I found out is that my original plan did, but also, more than that, it caused understeer, which basically means that when you go into a turn super hard, and one axle or the other has to break traction, it'll always be the front axle, which is not good, which means that you'll be wanting to turn, and instead of drifting your rear end, you'll be drifting your front end, which is very dangerous off-road, on-road, and basically any application that's useful for me. So I'm going to lower it, and it will change it to oversteer just a little bit. So that basically means that our rear end will slide out before our front end does when we're cornering super hard or whatever happens. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And basically it's gonna end up coming right here and right here. And I did already make some of the mounts for them, or one of the mounts for them. This is what it looks like right here. So now I'm gonna do the other side, but I figured I'd just fill in for you guys on what's going on. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just forming up the other side right now. We'll get them tacked on, welded, and then we can move on to our links. So let's get into that. All right, so we finished welding on the upper links for our axle. Here's what they look like. I had to put a gusset here because I couldn't go all the way down like this one and all the other ones, but they look pretty good. They're all welded in, completed. So now what we got to do is build the individual links themselves for the front. So what we're gonna have to do is cut them out from this tubing, and then we're going to have to weld on these bungs, weld down the bungs, or excuse me, grind down the bungs after we've welded them. And then, yeah, it'll be ready to install. So let's get cutting. All right, here's what the first pass looks like on the right-hand thread side. And then here is the left-hand thread side, and here are the welds on that side. So this is a first pass. So now we're gonna do our second pass after it cools off a bit, and then I'll show you what it looks like after that. So see you then. All right, I'm back after my second pass. So now we're about to make our third, and here's what the second pass looks like. We're gonna make our third, we're gonna grind it down, and then I'll meet you then. So I'll see you in a second, or in about an hour or two, maybe even 3. So see you then. All right, I'm back. They're all ground down after they've all been welded together. Here are what the lower links look like with the rod ends on, or the heim joints rather. And here's the upper links. I also situated the frame differently so we can start getting stuff kind of mounted on and mocked up, because I want to make sure everything's going together. Otherwise, you know, you'll get too deep in the project and have to fix things along the way. So. Or I'd rather fix things along the way than rather deal with them later. So anyways, this is what it looks like right now. I've lifted it up a little bit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the front axle and we're going to put it under the frame. We're going to get the airbags mounted up on there, and we're going to get the links on there as well. Here are the bag mounts, or excuse me, here are the airbags with the hardware on, except for the lower stud. So yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the front axle mounted first, then we're gonna get the cab put on, we'll get the cab put on, and then we'll put on the rear axle as well. So that's what I plan on doing for the rest of the day. So yeah, we'll just get right into it. First off, we're doing the front axle, so let's get into it. All right, now that the forelink is bolted to the frame and the axle is now positioned properly, we can now fill up the airbags so it sits on its own weight. So I'm just going to show you what I have set up currently. This is just like a valve like off of a normal air compressor. which is ran from a quarter inch NPT to a half-inch NPT. And that's all I could get at the hardware store for now. I am gonna order better stuff online later, and eventually I wanna do a cool setup, but for now it's just gonna be static. So for now, I'm just gonna regulate it straight off of my air compressor, and I'm just gonna use this to regulate the pressure. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for the air pressure on that. So now I'm gonna put my cab over the frame, and then I'll start working on the rear end. So let's get into that. All right, I'm back from last night. We got the rear four-link mounted up to the frame. I was gonna show you guys last night, and I did, but the lighting was just very bad. Like, it was just terrible. So I decided to wait till this morning to show you guys. Here's the rear four-link mounted up. Here's the driver's side. So there are a couple things we're gonna have to address. As you can see right here, the frame sort of protrudes into that. And while it's fine at this ride height, and it's fine to sit like this, when the bag compresses, it squeezes outwards and it protrudes into that metal, and I think it's gonna cause a leak eventually. So I'm gonna have to fix that. And also right here, same thing. So I'm gonna fix that later. I'm not gonna fix that right now. And I don't know, I might fix it on camera, but maybe not. Here's the front four-link. There's the airbag, and the transmission's currently on a jack. I haven't built the mount for that yet, but I need to. There's with the engine in there, and there's a huge hole in our firewall, so we are gonna have to build a new one. And I think we're gonna have to take it all the way back. So we're gonna cut all of this out and start from basically from scratch from here back. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. I'm really exhausted, and also I've got some other stuff to take care of. So yeah, I think that's it for this series. The next video, I think I'm gonna be working on my dad's second gen. We're gonna be replacing the steering and eventually the transmission too. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you wanna support me. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.